for as much time as he so desires.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the gentleman of Arkansas. To the gentleman from Arkansas, Congressman Ross, just a few days ago, we stood there with the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, my chairman, Ike Skelton, Congressman Ike Skelton, who has two sons who are currently serving in the military, who is from Missouri, and who's a great leader in this Congress. And in the defense bill, we did several things. We wanted to make sure that the troops knew that we supported them. And when we stood there, Congressman Ross, we said, thank you, Chairman Skelton, because you too believed what all Blue Dogs believe: accountability and responsibility. And it established those benchmarks, that oversight which is so needed right now. So that defense bill that gave the troops a 3.5% pay increase. A pay increase because there's such a gap, such a disparity between the private sector and our servicemen and women in their salary. And when they join the military, of course, they're not trying to make a lot of money. But the fact is that those privates who are making $17,000 a year, those privates that are leaving their wives and their kids at home, many of who had to survive on food stamps. Those privates who saw what we did in a defense bill, who said, that's great, 3.5% pay increase, not even $1,000 more a year, a couple $100 a year. The President of the United States said, Private, thank you for your service to your country, but that's too much of a pay increase. Mr. Speaker, I hope the people at home are watching. The President of the United States said a couple $100 more a year to a private making $17,000 a year is too much. Now, the Blue Dog Coalition believes in two things. One, fiscal responsibility, and two, strong national defense. How do those soldiers feel that are running convoys up and down Ambush Alley, scouting on the streets for roadside bombs, looking for snipers on the rooftops, to know their president back at home at the White House thinks a couple $100 more a year is too much? The president says, hey, it would add up over the next 5 years, $6.3 billion. That's a lot of money. But the same standard that the president uses, where he says it's too much for the troops, it's not too much for the contractors who have proven that they mismanage over $9 billion of our hard-earned money. The contractors who don't want any type of accountability, the contractors who don't want to see the light of day. The president has threatened to veto the pay raise of our soldiers. I believe that is morally wrong during a time of war, especially when you're saying we're not asking for a 10%, a 20%, a 30% increase in their pay when they make $17,000, just a couple hundred more a year, not even reaching $1,000 more. The president says no. In this defense bill that we passed that the president has said he will veto, and this wasn't just some slack comment where he said it to the side, the president put out a document saying 3.5% increase is too much. Mr. Speaker, I ask that everyone in America write the President of the United States and say 3.5% increase in pay for our troops is not too much to ask for. 3.5% during Memorial Day weekend, when we honor their service, is not too much to ask for. You know, this is a pattern, Mr. Speaker, that upsets me greatly. A pattern of neglect that this White House has on our troops. See, when I was in Baghdad, 138-degree heat, and this White House under Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld floated out the idea and said, well, let's take away their imminent danger pay, their combat pay, a couple $100 a month, because missions are just take away their combat pay, it's over. Well, Fast forward 4 years later, the president says, hey, 3.5% is too much. A pattern of neglect of our troops. It's okay when the president wants to use our troops, Mr. Speaker, as props for a fancy speech in the Rose Garden. But when it comes to budget time, when budgets are moral documents, the president says, too much. I respectfully beg to differ. When we look at the debt of our country, just under $9 trillion, $29,000 that every single man, woman, and child in the United States of America owes to our national debt. In the month of March of 2007, we paid $21 billion in interest rates alone. $21 billion we're paying just on the interest rates on it. Does it get any better? No. Why? Because there's no accountability. There's no tightening the belts. There's no care to say it's wrong to pass this debt, this $9 trillion of debt, to our children. That's wrong. So, Mr. Speaker, when I know my wife Jenny and my daughter Maggie are back home in Bristol, in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and Mr. Speaker, when I know that they're watching on C-SPAN, I know that they know that their daddy and their husband is fighting a good fight. They know that I cannot stand here in good conscience, Mr. Speaker, and allow this president to use our troops as props, and yet can't give them a couple $100 pay increase to try and alleviate some of that pay disparity within the private sector. And, Mr. Speaker, I can't sit here in good conscience and pay our good tax dollars $21 billion per month just to pay the interest rates off without cutting off the spending spigot. We need to straighten the spending of this country. The Blue Dogs are absolutely committed to doing that. We need partners from the other side of the aisle. We are working with anybody. That's the tradition of Blue Dogs. Because the bottom line is, yes, we might be Democrats, we might be Republicans on the other side of the aisle, but we're all Americans. And we all owe $9 trillion in debt in America to foreign countries like Communist China, like Mexico, like South Korea, like Japan. Enough is enough, Mr. Speaker. Enough is enough, and the Blue Dog Coalition, my brothers and sisters in this coalition, are taking the Florida House of Representatives and all across America, and we need the help of the American people, Mr. Speaker, to make sure people understand what's at stake. What's at stake is the future of America. What's at stake is the security, the financial security of our country and a country that our children will inherit. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the time tonight.
I thank the